Hey everybody, welcome back to Horror Trans. My name is Stephanie Bree. I'm a transgender woman who talks about all things horror. And yes, I haven't shaved in a couple of days. My Razor's battery is dead and I can't find the charger. And so I can't shave anything. I apologize. Sometimes I go a couple of days without shaving. So I'm trying, but... Today we're talking about Resident Evil. Not the video game, the 2002 sci-fi action horror thriller. Maybe not thriller, but horror movie. Definitely zombie movie. I know a week or two ago, or maybe even a month ago at this point, I did a video talking about zombie movies. I love them. Don't get me wrong. I just think that there's just too many of them, you know? The thing is, I say that as a slasher fan. I'm like, there's not enough slashers to go around. But Resident Evil, if you didn't know, was based on a video game that originally, I believe, started on the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation in around 1996, I think, or 1997, somewhere in that ballpark. And then got eventually... became mostly, more or less, I don't want to say PlayStation exclusive, but PlayStation became the home. Resident Evil 2 has been released on a couple of consoles, and there's a lot of them on Xbox, but outside of the GameCube, there's not a lot of Resident Evil games on modern systems, although I haven't checked the Switch, so who knows, maybe it's full of them. But it stars... Mila Jovovich and Michelle Rodriguez and a whole bunch of background characters we don't give a fuck about. Sorry. Some guy working for the Umbrella Corporation goes into the lab, steals a copy of the T-Virus, which is what makes people into zombies in the Resident Evil universe, and throws it at a desk and it shatters, and then he infects the whole thing. People die, and then zombies appear, more people die. It's pretty brutal, pretty bloody, pretty violent. But it moves pretty brisk for, I think, about a 2-hour movie, maybe 90 minutes or thereabouts. It moves so brisk I can't really get a sense of time when I'm watching it. It's just like, oh shit, they have already infected oh shit, everybody's already dead. Oh shit, they're already fighting zombies. And then, oh shit, there's the monster. And oh shit, they gotta, it's just like boom, 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 it keeps happening. You get very few lulls in the action, and even when you do, they're pretty brief relatively, especially compared to some other movies. Amazing special effects for the most part. The zombies look good. The setting looks good. The computer generated images. And I don't mean the CGI stuff. We'll talk about that. I mean, there's a computer in the movie that's running everything. So the images on the computer screens and of the holograms of the computer's avatar look pretty good even today. The CGI monsters and effects look like ass. I'm going to be honest, they did not at all age well. They look terrible. Resident Evil is a prime example of CGI done bad and doesn't age well. And so when people are like, yeah, CGI sucks, they could use images from Resident Evil to make that claim, and I would counter with, yeah, that's 2002. It's pretty early in the CGI. It's past the the beta phase of the 90s, but it's still not fully cooked, you know what I mean? But it still looks like crap, I have to say that. So, what else can I say about Resident Evil? The acting is what you would expect in a sci-fi B-movie, horror movie. It's takes itself pretty seriously, but it can be a little over the top at times, like a little dramatic at times. To be fair, they're being attacked by mindless flesh-eating zombies, so maybe they're just in a panic, but some of the dialogue comes off kind of weird. The action scenes, top notch. 10 out of 10 for the action scenes. The zombies look great. The tension is there throughout the whole movie. The whole time you're just like, oh my god, is anybody going to get out alive? And then there's one particular scene pretty early where some people die and you're like, whoa. It's a pretty, like, it'll stick with you. I don't want to spoil the movie too much, so I don't really want to get into the what makes you go, whoa. But it'll happen if you've never seen this movie. Unless you're just, like, so desensitized that nothing affects you anymore, and in which case, I don't know. But it's a pretty good. The music is fucking damn fantastic. Oh my god, the soundtrack to this movie is definitely one of the top tier soundtracks from video game movies, and, you know, probably in the top 100 greatest movie soundtracks, or at least movie scores. Some great electronic music in this. I dare not call it techno, because every time I call something that people say isn't techno, they get their panties in a bunch. But to me, it's all techno. It's just techno's my catch-all for all electronic music. I do know the sidebar. I know the distinctions. I can distinguish, like, drum and bass or trance. To my ears, I don't hear a difference between techno and house. It's the same goddamn thing. I think it's just people arguing over territories, and it always goes back to who did it first. Fuck off with that shit. Who gives a fuck? But let's get back to the movie. Even though the acting isn't great, you know, it's about par with movies like Twister and The Fifth Element, so you kind of have an idea of what to expect. You know, it's not like total cheeseball. You know, it's not like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. It's nothing like that, or Leprechaun, you know, as some examples of terrible acting. So yeah, it's got some drama. I don't want to say how much. I don't want to spoil the movie too much, but there's one character that... Well, there's two characters that lost their memory, and they're trying to discover if they were on the bad side or not, as their memories come back to them. I'll just say this, and I won't get any more specific. Once they get their memories back, one of them figures out that they were the good guy, and the other one figures out was the bad guy. But there's no real central villain in the movie. The zombies are villains, the AI is a villain, the douchebag is a villain, the corporation is a villain, the thing that they accidentally discover, the monster, is a villain, the dogs are a villain. Yes, the dogs are bad in this movie. Sorry, dog lovers. I loved every second watching bullets pump into the zombie dogs. I was like, good. Kill them all. I hate dogs. I'm sorry. I'm not that sorry. I'm sorry to the dog lovers that love their puppies. But I'm not sorry that I enjoy watching dogs die in movies. I'm not, because I hate dogs. I've been attacked too many times. I'm never going to not be afraid of dogs. So, how does it rank among other horror movies? I would put it in the mid-tier. You know, it's better than the schlock, but not as good as, like, The Conjuring, or Nightmare on Elm Street, or Candyman, or the classics. You know. So I would say it's about just a notch below some of the middle Hellraiser movies. You know, like 3 and 4. They're just slightly better than Resident Evil. But I would say it's definitely better than the Leprechauns, the Children of the Corn, the Puppet Masters, and stuff like that. Is it a rent or a buy? I think it's a buy because it's one of those movies that moves so fast, and the action is so well done, the choreography is so amazing, and the vast majority of the special effects, aside from the monster and a couple of other CGI shots, look pretty amazing. Those shots that look like ass, look like ass. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, unless you're gonna, like, you know, go into, like, After Effects and fix it yourself for your own private copy. You know, if I had After Effects, I wouldn't mind doing that to a few early CGI movies. Make them look a little bit better. But really, is it worth it? To fix somebody else's mistakes? I don't think so. But it's definitely a buy because it's just a great movie. You know, you're like, hey, I got 90 minutes to, kill, and I got nothing else to do. It won't feel like 90 minutes. It'll go by so fast, you'll be like, wow, it's already over? Oh, shit. I sat here for 2 hours or however long it is, and you're like, I didn't even feel the time go by. That makes it worth a buy in my book because it's good. I don't have the attention span to sit through a 3-hour movie or a 90-minute movie that, goes at a snail's pace, like Terms of Endearment or Sophie's Choice. Fuck off. Anyways, it's a great movie. Check it out. Stay cool.